Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Decenter White Women, the podcast where I am empowering Black women's well being, specifically through rest, healing, and self autonomous joy. Hey, my name is Vonda Page, and I am so excited to be here. Today, I have an idea. I have an idea. And that idea is I want to share a story. And in this story, I want to talk about the importance of addressing your own wounds as a critical step in decentering white women. But I want to talk about this very specifically because when we as Black women, very specifically, when we do not address our wounds, which are very deeply embedded, very much tied to our epigenetic imprint, very much tied to, our history with enslavement. When we do not unpack that shit, we are going to keep on living it out over and over and over and over and over. So I want to talk about a couple of the things that we need to unpack when it comes to our wounds and trauma, wounds or trauma. You can use the same word interchangeably, that we don't think about. And we need to, because it is going to be critical in our ability to decenter white women. So I have 4 steps in the process, right? The first step is to acknowledge whiteness. Acknowledge whiteness really means look at how whiteness shows up in your life. What does whiteness mean to you? What does it look like, feel like? How do you acknowledge it? So I'll use myself as an example. For me, I acknowledge whiteness in I have these, I don't know if you want to call them Eurocentric or American standards for like how I like my house, right? Like I have white walls, I have white doors, I have white trim, right? And then I have, art on the walls, but I'm like very minimalist and neat. And, yes, I have Black art on the walls, but my house is, I don't know, maybe some people might say it's white, right? Or something like that. I have a Subaru, and I dress, in like basically 3 designers that I've been wearing since the 80s, literally, since I've been buying my own clothes, literally, right? And then I have maybe 5, leather goods that I buy, right? The same brand, right? I have 1 brand of travel good that I buy. So I'm white, and I acknowledge me having this thing where I got into certain types of brands and a certain look at a very young age because I started working in corporate America at age 15, right? I started working for an insurance company, which, we know what that business is all about, right? So I started doing it at a very early age, right? Even though it was a small company. And from that time on, right, I've been dressing so-called professional, right? And that professional dress, the way I dress is, silk tops and pants, dresses, wrap dresses, suits, right? Shirt, dress, like I style, like I like dresses, I like pants, I like skirts, but I like silks, linens, and leathers. That's like what I like. So that's what I wear, like 90% of the time. If I was in the motherland drip on me, I would be wearing, um, you know, a halter top and a long skirt and barefoot all the time. But I am barefoot all the time in my house, right? All the time. And I'm barefoot outside in my backyard, in my front yard, in my side yard. And, anytime I'm not, driving or in public, I'm bare feet. But I acknowledge that in my whiteness. The other thing is I acknowledge, this whole thing about living in the suburbs. I acknowledge the whole thing about getting degrees. All of that stuff is whiteness. But more so when you're trying to decenter from white women and decouple yourself from dominant culture, like acknowledging whiteness is how is whiteness affecting you each and every day. So for me, I have my own business. And so I'm not interacting with a lot of white people from the standpoint of somebody actually telling me what to do. Now, I did have an amazingly horrific experience with like about 8 or 9 clients in December of 2023, which is like, wow, it was really the thing that pushed this project. worked out faster than it was going to be pushed out. The Decenter White Woman Project, it accelerated it by about probably 6 weeks ish or so. But anyway, that acknowledgement of whiteness, right, helps you to understand how you will show up in white spaces, how you will interact in white spaces, how you will, deal with white people and especially white women. Now, when I worked in corporate America, whiteness was at my front door constantly because everybody I worked around was white, or Indian, basically, and all the women were white or Indian, and the only people who were nice to me were a couple of the Indian women that were darker than me. And I think some people looked at me and was like, am I black? Because people are weird. And I had a really short haircut. So my hair kind of looked a little straight-ish. But anyway, like I had a buzz, like a buzz pixie. And so I don't know. But anyway, I had some really good interactions with my colleagues. And all the interactions with white people end up being backstabby, horrible situations, except for two white women who I really like and still consider a friend, except for one who ignored me for asking her a question. But whatever, I don't care. But I don't expect anything out of white women. But now that I don't work in corporate America like that, I don't have that same thing where I'm constantly code switching, constantly worrying how white women are going to respond to me based on our interactions, because I'm not interacting with them in that much of a way. But in my most recent experience with, like I said, this group of clients, where they literally came into community, did this whole performance. Oh, we want to learn about anti-racism. Oh, yes, we understand the work is healing. Oh, yes, boom, boom, boom. And then when I said, hey, I need to take a sabbatical because I had a trip, they literally was like, bitch, you can't go. Like, huh? And and so it was just a trip. They decided to pull back, stop all of their memberships and then start a little group on the side and do their whole little thing. And now, some of them, I guess, are getting to the realization that, maybe they should have listened to me, or things ain't working out the way they thought, or whatever. I don't really know. But that ship has sailed, because what I have realized, because what I realized from that situation is that there are no white people, white women specifically, who really are invested in the work of change. And so it really doesn't make any sense at all to have any faith or trust that they would do so, because we have 500 plus years of them not doing so, right? We had 310 years of literal free labor. And now black women, right, are working in the DEI field, or trying to do social justice, or springing up our own consultancies and nonprofit organizations just to get white people to give black people human dignity and human rights, because all we have is civil rights in this country. And our populace, the American citizenry, the populace is so dumb and so uneducated that they don't realize, that black people don't have human rights here. We only have civil rights. And they keep taking the civil rights back, like they're slapping the civil rights back. And that's why all the other, stuff is happening, right? That's why all of the military shit that's happening is happening, because they're taking away the civil rights, because black people are the ones in the world without the human rights. We're the ones. We're not allowed to have water. We're not allowed to have air. They are putting people in handcuffs. They are handcuffing white people and putting white people in jail for giving other white homeless people bottles of water. That's what our country is doing. I don't know what they're doing to black people doing it. Hopefully, black people ain't sitting out on the street giving each other water. They know how to go in each other's houses and go in the backyard and shit. But that's what they're doing. And so if that is what is happening, and people still don't get and see the direction and what is happening, then people aren't paying attention. And so what it means is it's going to be a lot worse for a lot of people much quicker, because it means that so many more people are letting more things slide and they're not seeing them. And those are the people who are going to be impacted. And so that is how whiteness, right? That's how it looks. And so when you can look at your life and say, this is how whiteness shows up in me. I'm trying to have proximity. I'm trying to have access. I'm trying to get approval. My boss is white. All of my colleagues are white. I live in a white neighborhood. I dress white. I try to talk white. I try to, whatever you want to call it, right? I code switch 24/7 because I have to. If you're married to a white partner, like, what's your life like at home? If you're the black woman married to a white partner who have a whole white family, are you constantly code switching, or you be who you are and your white partner hangs around your black family and y'all blacking it up 24/7? So it's about acknowledging whiteness, which is the first one. And I didn't want to get too deep into it because we have a whole podcast that we're going to do on that. But the second step in the process after acknowledging whiteness is to assess your safety. And the safety part is the most critical part for black women because we are used to putting our bodies out there. We are used to our bodies getting beat to shit. We are used to our bodies getting abused in every way such that we put our bodies out for everybody to abuse us. Then we be like, y'all ain't hear us crying, but we got to stop putting our fucking bodies out there. And this is the biggest shit I learned in 2023. The biggest shit I learned, thanks to my friend, my colleague, my ace, boom, from Florida by way of Bahamas, is Tammy T, is that we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. And that healing, right, can't happen without rest. And when we don't learn the lessons that the universe keeps bringing us, we're going to keep on learning them over and over. And really being able to understand that, really being able to sit with that, really being able to vibe with that, really being able to process that and deal with it and feel it and know, like, okay, like this is what it is, to really be there and do that. It's been everything for me because it's been the catalyst for me to figure out, okay, what is it that Vonda needs? What is it that Vonda wants? So you have to always be looking out for your own safety. And I had to figure out that it was me who needed the rest. It was me who needed it. Like, I had been working on my own healing for a long time. So it wasn't about that part, because I know that everybody's first job is healing. That's why I made that journal. That's why that was the first group, when I started working with the white women. I was like, listen, we have to have a focus on healing. And then when I saw they wasn't getting it, that's when I brought the journal. And I thought that the journal was going to be one of the pieces that they was going to use as an aid. But I don't know. They just was a bunch of performing people that wasn't really down. And here's the thing. The reason that people perform is because they don't like who they really are. So that's why they have to perform. Tammy always says, and she says it in the Performance of Whiteness class, that white people perform for two audiences. White people perform for white people so that they can, appear to be good or better than other white people, and white people perform for black people so that they can appear to want us to think they one of the good ones. Black people perform for white people out of safety. So if I see a white lady and she smiles at me in the store, even though I don't feel like motherfucking smiling back, if I'm the only black person in the store, and I'm like, I look around, I might smile back just because I don't want her to say something fucked up, right? Or call the people or try to harm me. Like, literally, I have had people shove me in the store. Like, I don't even like to talk about the abusive things that have happened to me, right, in public, just for just existing. But I know black women get it because all kind of shit happens to us in the public for just existing all the motherfucking time. But that doesn't make it any better. That doesn't make it like, okay, we cool with it, because we're not fucking cool with it. We're motherfucking tired. We are motherfucking tired. And we want a break. We want a break. And we deserve a break. And I've known, right, that I've needed rest because I've felt tired for a really long time. And I started saying, okay, my body feels tired or my body needs rest. so that it's not like me. But I'm fucking tired. And black women are tired. What are we tired of? We tired of this fuck shit. We tired of the bullshit. And what we tired of, especially if we in DEI or HR or corporate America or IT or education or nonprofit or running our own business, we're tired of white women abusing us and acting like we are too stupid to see what's happening. We are tired of white people pretending that they don't understand fucking racism when, like James Baldwin said, like maybe 40 years ago, they might not understand, some things, but they understand that they don't want to fucking be black in America. So since that's the case, why are we out here on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on everywhere else doing anti-racism work for white people? Why are we trying to explain racism to white people? Because that's our safety. We've been trying to get ourselves safe. And now because of we still don't have human rights, we done figured out, okay, well, they like when we talk nice, right? And they act like they care about racism. They invented this thing called the Equal Employment Opportunity. They invented the Equal Pay Act. They invented all these things with the word equal in front of it. And then they got us on the okie doke for the last 60 years trying to pretend that they want some sort of equity for black people, black women. And we are still at less than 1% wealth in this fucking country. And black women's pay is 57 cents a motherfucking to the dollar compared to white man. Our pay is 57 cents to the dollar compared for a white man for the same job. And who has the highest education in this country? Black women. Who has the most fucking PhDs? Black women. Right? But who is the first, last hire and first motherfucking fired? Black women. Why is that? Because it is on purpose, it's strategic, and if we are still messing around in HR and DEI, we need to wake the hell up. Because either you are part of the problem because you skipping and grinning and cooning for the man, or you in there fighting a losing battle and you fed up. Let me tell you, I had my first job in DEI in 1996. 1996, the fall and spring. I worked for, which is now probably the second or third largest mall corporation in the world. Back when it wasn't that big. It was big. And I worked with the marketing team and I was the diversity marketing diversity specialist. And the shit I learned about how everything is bullshit, everything is fake. It's all about creating a perception for people to believe in. It's all about creating desires for people. And none of it's real, because literally everything we selling people is not anything they need. And everything that people need has been commoditized. Air, water, food, shelter, relationships, rest, wellness. Everything that we get from nature has been commodified. And when I learned that, and then I started understanding how they use demographic information to negatively target black people based on stereotypical shit that they sell us, based on characters that they make up of us, because who owns all of our images and who owns how our images get shown to the world? That is one very specific group of people with one specific demographic, with one gender set, with one look, that own and control all of that. And those are the images that go out there. And so all of those things are considerations into what makes everything unsafe for black people, black women specifically though. Right? So then we getting so underpaid. How do you survive like that? How do you live? How do you? You fucking struggle. And that's the whole point. The whole point is for black people to be back in chains. That is the whole point. And everybody else, who's not black, they think they can avoid it. But now they realize, oh shit is flipping back faster than we thought possible. Yeah, y'all dummies. And black people been trying to tell y'all. And black women, we've been trying to tell people fucking sojourner truth. Before that, we've been trying to say, listen up. And white women haven't listened. Now here we go. 200 years later, we still with the same bullshit. Here we are in 2023. Here we are in 2023, 2024 with the same nonsense and the same bullshit. Still trying to convince white people to give black people consideration as human beings. I'm not asking white people or any people to consider my humanity. I don't give a fuck. If you don't think I'm a human being, that's on you. That's on you. You'll see how I react. You see how I react to it. You'll see how I react. And so when my humanity was ignored by my clients, who basically were all on some sort of scholarship, literally, there was only one person that was almost paying the full price. And then that same person volunteered to pay for 3 other people. And I'm like, you're not Big Willie like that. $100 a week does not pay for 15 hours worth of mentorship a month. It doesn't pay for that. like where is anybody getting $400, spending $400 and getting 15 hours of therapy, group and individual? Plus you have the ability to reach out and contact me and talk, about your family problems and your issues. No, these people are bugging. These people are bugging. These people are bugging. Listen, black women, it's time for us to do us. And that's why I created the app. It's a FUBU type of thing for us, by us. My Leaders Learn Radical Change app. And I can help anybody, content creators, consultants, coaches, therapists, anybody. I can help you build and launch your own platform. We can do it in 8 weeks or less. And if you want to begin to grow and you need support and help, that's the mentoring work that I do with black women. But I'm no longer going to be working in groups with white women because they're too dangerous. They too dangerous. They too dangerous. You cannot say anything to make a white woman upset without the consequences coming back to you. And you have to decide for yourself, based on what's up, can I handle these consequences or not? Consequences to your finances, consequences to, literally these women is having a conversation about, well, hey, I know how to dox people. They literally said they know how to dox people. So they left my platform and having a conversation about how they know how to dox people. Huh? So because I said I needed to take a sabbatical, you didn't like it. And then you got in an argument with another white lady about some shit. Now you talking about doxing people and you having your whole other thing. Too dangerous. Too dangerous. So I had to block and delete, take these people out the app. I'm like trying to do cross associations. I'm about to do my, I forgot what it's called, but I just renewed it because I do it every now and then. You know how you run your background searches on your clients and stuff. And my DUNS reports and stuff. But like I'm going to run a report on a couple of people that I don't know just to check them out because I'm not going to be putting myself in that situation. So assessing your safety, that is everything. That's everything. And in that third part, right, is then this is it, y'all. The third part is you have to accept the challenges. You have to accept the challenge of how you going to deal with all this bullshit because it's some bullshit. It's some bullshit because it's going to be a lot. Right? Because when you talk about assessing your safety, you got to assess your pocket. You got to assess your physical safety. You got to assess your internet safety. You got to assess your community. Like if you're a social media person or what, you got to do a lot of shit when you messing around with white women in your space. And if you messing around out here on TikTok or YouTube or anywhere else and you trying to tell white women about, diversity, DEI shit, listen, they don't care. White people have to be invested in our oppression because they don't have nobody else to oppress. If they not beating the shit out their kids or selling their kids or ignoring their kids and letting their sons and fathers mistreat their daughters, if they ain't doing that, look, they in a corner somewhere with a box or a bottle of, Chardonnay, or, whatever, doing their thing. And it is what it is. It is what it is. I was in this thing where I was like, I can help them because I've been around them. I get it. I see them. I know. Guess what? They don't want the help from me. They're not going to pay for it from me because they want to see me hurt and suffer. White women want to see us hurt and suffer because they hurting and suffering. And they're like, well, bitches ain't nobody helping me. That's their attitude. My mom was just like that. My mom was like that. Now, my mom didn't get her ass beat and all that kind of stuff because she had asthma as a kid and she was treated like some little fucking princess doll. But man, she sure did beat the shit out of me and treat me like a damn black slave, beat me like a black slave. And it was really, traumatic as a kid, I think more so because people knew and they wouldn't help me. And I was like, well, what the fuck? And then kind of as my life went on, years later, I kind of realized, oh, it's a lot of people who have an attitude like, well, nobody ain't helped me, so, fuck it. Or I made it through or whatever, so fuck it. And I'm like, no, because I've been fighting for other people since I was a little girl. I mean, man, I almost fought my aunt for beating my cousin. I used to protect my cousin. I let my aunt hit me one time when she was trying to hit my little cousin. And my cousin's sister, who's 3 months older than me, she wouldn't even fucking stop it. And after that, I ain't never like her. And we fought all the time after that. I used to try to kick her ass. I was like, you won't even protect your sister, your little sister. You let your mom beat your sister like that? I used to be like, fuck you. And I used to beat her ass when she would hit me or be mean to her sister, to the point where her little sister, I was more of a sister to her than her big sister. And me and her haven't talked now in years. And I'm going to tell you, we haven't talked because she felt bad because she knew about a family secret that she ain't tell me. But fuck it. So she feels bad. So that's why she ain't speaking to me. And I think that's why some of my other people ain't speaking to me. But I really don't care. Because, my thing is, if people going to protect abusers, I don't fuck around with abusers. Whether it's child abuse, spousal abuse, drug abuse, alcohol abuse. I don't fuck around with people who are abusers, and definitely not people who are abusers of people. And people who abuse drugs and alcohol in themselves, they gonna abuse you. People who treat themselves good will treat other people good. And what happens when you start being around white people and you notice how bad they treat themselves, like, then you realize, okay, how are they going to treat me any better? So then I'm out here like thinking I'm trying to pour in techniques of self-love and healing, right? Because my work that I do with people, it's all about supporting people's own journey. I can't heal anybody. I'm not no motherfucking fake preacher, right? I'm not no Benny Hinn or whatever. I can't heal nobody. I can give people my story, my journey, my path, my experiences, my lessons. I can give people that, and that'll help them on their shit. But I can't do the work for them. Well, white people, white women, we was their property. They ain't never forget that shit, y'all. That's ingrained in them. And guess what? It's ingrained in us too. And because it's ingrained in us, Black American women, not Caribbean women so much, but Black American women. And we can get into the Caribbean thing in a more detail. Me and Tammy had a really good conversation about it. She helped me understand it even more. So it's really cool. But Black American women, the descendants of Americans who were enslaved here, Africans who were enslaved here in America, my peoples, American Black women, listen, they did the fuck shit on us, y'all. They got our minds so messed up. And to the point where we have like this sick codependence on white women. We are always begging or trying to get these 4 things. And I talk about this a lot. And y'all gonna hear me say this all the time. We always, as Black people, we always trying to get these 4 things from whiteness. Acceptance from whiteness. Access to whiteness, white spaces. Approval by white people, right? Standards of whiteness, right? And allowance to let us do shit from whiteness and white people, right? So, Black people, we got to wait for white people to let us do what? Go to colleges. Even the so-called HBCUs, those were started by white people. We don't have our own anything. It's just the way they perpetuate it. It was like, well, these are the schools we will let y'all go to. That's what it is. These are the schools we let y'all go to. right? Allowance. So we are always in perpetual allowance mode. Are we allowed? Do we have access? Okay. Like, it don't matter. We could be a gymnast like Simone Biles. We could be a tennis player like Serena Williams. We could be an actress like Taraji P. Henson, like Monique, like Viola Davis, like Carrie Washington, any of them. We could be any. We could be a all around entertainer, like a Beyonce. So we could know how to sing, dance, act, produce, direct, and whatever else she know how to do. Design clothes. I don't know. But I know that lady know how to do a lot of shit. She know how to do a lot of shit. She got a lot of gifts, right? Now, it doesn't matter how good you are as a black woman. It's never enough. It ain't never enough. And all of these are part of the challenges. And so the thing is, right, there's a piece of us that says, I don't want to go through this bullshit. Like I'm tired of explaining everything. I'm tired of going through. But guess what? That's what this work is. So we ourselves have to unpack. Why do we keep on? Where are we in life that we need so much approval and acceptance from white people? Where are we in our shit that we got going on? Why do we need all this acceptance and approval from white people? Or do we not need it? Can we walk away from it? And what does it look like to walk away from it, right? Like, when we can start to ask ourselves this shit, oh, this right here, right? When we start to ask ourselves this right here, look, y'all, then we doing something. We are doing something. We doing something. That's when we know we're gonna be doing something. Okay? And so it's a matter of getting in that headspace to say, yeah, I'm down, and I'm going to do this for me, right? I'm going to accept that these are ways that whiteness shows up in my life, and I'm going to start to examine it. And I'm going to accept the challenge of how I got to get the hell out. But recognizing that we have to get the hell out. And then that brings it back to what I was going to say anyway, and what I was going to talk about, which is the whole piece about dressing the wounds. So we have wounds from corporate America, like from not getting paid. We got wounds from corporate America, from people doing fuck shit from us. I mean, can I tell y'all, I worked at a restaurant. And it was called Charlie's Place. And then it got either sold or renamed or something to a place called like Houlihan's or something. I don't know. I'll have to ask my BFF. She'll remember. But anyway, the manager used to fucking fill me up. And it was so horrible. I think that's when I first really got that kind of anxiety. Like I used to try to like not work where he would work, and I would like, avoid him and make sure I be around people all the time. And this motherfucker would find a way to corner me and just fill me up. Oh my God, it was so horrible. And then I finally was like, I gotta figure something out. And I gotta transfer. And I had to get like approval from the corporate headquarters to get a transfer to the lesser restaurant. And I was like really good. So of course they keep the good people, blah, 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 right? Anyway, it was a whole big ass thing. But long story short, right? Like I never really processed that. Like, I've talked about it with people, but talking about it and saying, oh, this thing happened, that's not the same thing as sitting down and crying about it and being like, oh my God, and really, sitting and feeling and processing through it. I never did that. And I never did that with a lot of shit. And I haven't done that shit with all of my white woman trauma, because it's ongoing. And so instead of, after I left corporate America, in 2020, when I founded Radical Change, and I knew I was going to leave corporate America in 2021, I started working on my business stuff and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my business. And I didn't realize that I was going to end up getting blackballed and not being able to utilize LinkedIn. So I lost my entire network of people, professional network. And that was the beginning of me not really being able to
see the type of success, because everybody who I have worked with over the past 20 years knows my shit. But as soon as I started talking about how black women get paid less and how everybody is helping with that, and then I started promoting my first book, which is Dump DEI, which is available strictly from my website. And actually I need to put that on the Stand store. But Dump DEI, my book, and I started talking about it, then the non-black so-called DEI people, they came out the woodwork and started going crazy, and I ended up getting my account banned. And not even for anything. And then they wanted me to send them my ID. I did it once, and then it happened again, and then I was like, never again, to hell with y'all. So I don't have access to post new things on LinkedIn, which is fine, because they don't want to post. They don't want to show my content anyway. My content is not content for people who want to see change. My content is for people who know that the status quo is a bunch of bullshit. My content is for people who, black women who are like me, who are like, yo, this is some bullshit they've been doing to us, and I'm tired. And everybody is not going to be, sick and tired of being sick and tired at the same time. It's not going to happen like that. And all I can do is tell my story and encourage other people, to learn and grow, and heal their shit. Because that's what I'm doing. And so addressing whatever wounds you have, whether it is the wounds from your childhood, from your mom, beating your ass, from your mom not protecting you when she should have protected you, from, I don't know, your dad for leaving and never fucking coming back, whatever your wounds are, your brother for, smacking you, whatever kind of shit happened to you. Listen, our first job is to heal that, because without that, we're going to keep on doing the same stuff. So I want everybody out here to think about, if you work in the DEI field, or you work in human resources, or you work in nonprofit, or you work in education, or you work in social justice, if you have any of those jobs, I want you to ask yourself, and this comes straight from something I learned from Tammy. I want you to ask yourself, what is the motivation? Why did you go into the field? Why did you, out of all the fields, whatever, psychology, dance, engineering, history, out of all the things, why did you decide to go into the field of diversity, equity, inclusion? Why did you decide to go into the field of human resources? Why did you decide to go in the area of organizational development? Why did you decide to take any of those as your area of interest? Why did you decide that instead of something else, something more fun? Like, I'm gonna tell you, as much as I love music and dance, if my mom wasn't telling me I was gonna be a doctor from the day I was born, I definitely would have been a dancer. I'm a barefoot ass dancer. I would be a barefoot dancer. Sound like West African? I'm just saying. I mean, I guess it could be. I mean, I know I'm West African because, well, according to those DNA things, I am 91% Nigerian. So, but like if I had never been pushed towards academics, right? That's what I would have did. But it is what it is. And I'm fine with where I am today. I love what I do, and I shifted that focus to Black women's well-being from a different way. Because at the end of from the beginning, me and Tammy talked together when we were formulating Unleashing Empathy. We were talking about how this work is for us. This work is for us. This work is to benefit Black women. Because ultimately, right, when white people stop harming us, Black women will live longer, right? Like, our lives will be happier and better. But what happened is, when you put the focus on white women, which is easy to do because they're always like, I need help. I didn't know what to do. So we put the focus on white women, and then come to find out, oh my God, no, we can't do that at all. Because guess what? White women are too dangerous. They don't want to do this work, and it doesn't serve us to do this work with them. This is one of those times where it's so important. This is where that whole concept comes about decentering white women. This is why, because they can only harm us. They cannot do anything for our good, for our betterment, and never have. So it's not going to happen now. So why are we playing these stupid games? Play stupid games, get stupid prizes. That's where we are. We got to stop. We got to stop because it's not doing us any good. It's our time. It's our time to take this momentum and move forward, to position our power. This it's time. It's time to up level our well-being. Number one, rest, because we have to rest in order to heal. I've been healing, but how am I'm healing, mentally doing a lot of healing, but no physical rest and no emotional rest. No physical rest, no emotional rest, because for the last 18 months, not only have I been on a grind with my business, but for the last 18 months, I've been taking on white people problems, white lady shit. Dealing with people who haven't unpacked their own whiteness. Back to stage one. So, boom, we're going to close it out. Acknowledge whiteness. That's the first step. The second step is to assess your safety. The third step is to accept the challenges that poses, that this decentering process poses. And that fourth step is to address your wounds. Because if you don't address your wounds, all that other stuff is not gonna never work. It's gonna keep on being messed up. It's the same shit's gonna happen over and over and over and over, because we are in a sick cycle with them. Just like we were their property. We were their property. So, we push back in a different way because of Jim Crow etiquette and their right to comfort. They wield that right to comfort over us like a damn hammer. They wield it because they can, because they've been doing it for 500 years. So it's going to take a minute to do this decentering work, y'all. This is not something like, oh, we can unpack it like that. Oh, blah, blah. No. This is going to take a minute. This is some serious stuff. And I'm going to be here with y'all, and we're going to do this thing together. First and foremost, remember that you matter. Rest matters. We matters. And guess what? If other people don't like it, that's on them.